Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. General Hospital. Britt's shocking secret. Is Nathan an imposter? For 7 years, fans believed Nathan West was dead. His murder and funeral seemed convincing, but recent events suggest otherwise. A John Doe, found after a car crash, bore a striking resemblance to Nathan West. DNA tests confirmed his identity, yet a lingering sense of unease persisted. This feeling intensified when Britt saw him. Her reaction was not one of joy, but of deep disturbance. Britt's apprehension was palpable. She expressed concern about Nathan's son, James West, Gary James Fuller, meeting this man who claims to be his father. Britt's pleas to Felicia Scorpio, Christina Wagner, and Damian Spinelli, Bradford Anderson, to reconsider the reunion, and her questioning of Maxie's wishes, fell on deaf ears. Despite her efforts, James met the man who looks like Nathan West. Britt's facial expressions and body language screamed that something was terribly wrong. Her hug with Nathan was not one of a loving sister reunited with her brother, but one of fear and distress. It appears Nathan West may be a shell of his former self, or perhaps someone else entirely is inhabiting his body. The Peter and Faison conundrum on GH. Could it be Britt and Nathan's brother, Peter August, Wes Ramsey, is behind this? Or perhaps Caesar Faison, Anders Hove? The evidence leans towards Peter, but the possibilities are complex. This person seems like Nathan to everyone but Britt, who is clearly disturbed. One theory is that this Nathan is faking amnesia. He claims to remember nothing after Faison shot him and appears shocked by the 7 years he's missed. This could be a ploy to gain sympathy and avoid scrutiny for any mistakes he makes. Another possibility is that Peter, having undergone plastic surgery, has had his DNA and fingerprints manipulated to match Nathan. While a drastic option, it's not out of the realm of possibility for General Hospital. General Hospital. Britt's fear and a dangerous truth. It's suspected that a mysterious boss subjected Nathan to experiments, and Britt is aware that her brother is not himself. While Britt may not have been a willing participant, she likely knows the truth and recognizes the danger he poses. Her reluctance to have him around the family stems from this knowledge. Britt's fear and suspicion were evident. Her stunned reaction to seeing Nathan at General Hospital was undeniable. Furthermore, Nathan gave Britt threatening looks, seemingly warning her to stay silent about what she knows. Despite her love for Nathan, Britt may not perceive this person as her real brother due to some form of manipulation, akin to a Frankenstein-like scenario. She might see a twisted science experiment rather than her beloved sibling. The real Nathan struggle on GH. Could the real Nathan have resurfaced, broken free from his programming, only to be incapacitated in the car accident? Perhaps his mind was in turmoil, battling with Peter or another entity, leading to his current state. This suggests the current situation wasn't a deliberate plan by a fake Nathan to end up at General Hospital. When Nathan awoke with Nina Reeves, Cynthia Watrose, present, it's possible the real Nathan was pushed back into his subconscious, with Peter or another entity regaining control. This would explain Britt's negative reaction. The suspicion falls on Faison as the secret boss, with a version of Peter inside Nathan's brain, or vice versa. The initial on the card with Britt's medication, C, points to Caesar Faison. Additionally, Britt's statement to Pascal that the boss wouldn't want her hurt, coupled with Peter's known animosity towards Britt, further supports this theory. Peter's jealousy and lethal nature make him an unlikely protector. General Hospital. Unraveling the conspiracy. Britt's mention of Maxie not wanting James to meet Nathan West without her is a significant clue. Maxie's fear of Peter and her efforts to protect their daughter, Bailey Lou, London and Jet Prince-Oberant, by having Brooke Lynn Quartermain, Amanda Seton, pretend to be her mother, are well documented. A leaker suggested Liesel was holding Nathan, but Britt scenes cast doubt on this. While Nathan may have been held and experimented on, Liesel's reaction suggests genuine surprise and happiness at his return. General Hospital has a history of outlandish plots. Mikos Cassadines, John Kalikos, Weather Machine, Helena Cassadines, Constance Towers, Mind-Controlled Assassins, Anna Devanes, Finola Hughes, Implanted Memories, Franco Baldwin's, Roger Howarth, Memory Transfer, Drew Kane Quartermains, Cameron Matheson, Mind Control, and even an alien encounter with Casey the Alien. The current situation with Nathan, where Britt is clearly shaken, aligns with the possibility of both Faison and Peter returning in some capacity. An interview hinted at Britt's return being the beginning of the Faison/Albrecht resurgence. It seems Peter and Faison may indeed be back, and Nathan West is no longer his fair share of resurrections, imposters, and jaw-dropping reveals. But this one could change everything the Westbourne family ever believed. Britt Westbourne thought she'd already faced her share of heartbreak, losing her brother Nathan in a tragic shooting orchestrated by Faison's enemies. Yet, when a familiar face appeared in the corridors of General Hospital, one that looked, sounded, and even moved like Nathan, Britt's carefully rebuilt life shattered in an instant. The ghost in the hallway. It started one late evening at GH. Britt was reviewing patient charts when a reflection in the glass door behind her froze her blood cold. Standing just outside the nurse's station was a man in a leather jacket, tall, broad-shouldered, with Nathan's unmistakable piercing eyes. "Britt," the man said softly, his tone caught between confusion and recognition. For a moment, Britt couldn't breathe. Her chart dropped to the floor as she whispered, "Nathan?" The hospital corridor seemed to spin as staff and patients faded into background noise. This couldn't be happening. Not again. Britt had seen his body, attended his memorial, mourned him every day since. And yet, the man's voice, the way he said her name, it was him. But when she ran into his arms, something felt off. His embrace was familiar, but distant, mechanical, controlled. And when she looked into his eyes again, there was a flicker, something cold, almost empty. DNA doesn't lie. Or does it? Unable to shake the feeling that something wasn't right, Britt arranged for a quiet DNA test. She told no one, not even Austin or Elizabeth, fearing they'd think she was spiraling. The results arrived in a sealed envelope 2 days later, and what she read made her knees buckle. Nathan West. Inconclusive. The sample matched on several genetic markers, but others showed anomalies. Differences too significant to ignore, or to explain through normal biology. Britt's scientific brain raced through possibilities. Cloning, genetic tampering, brain implants. And when she found a hidden scar along the imposter's temple, one that looked like a surgical entry point, the pieces began to form a terrifying picture. Someone had recreated Nathan, the shadow of Faison. Haunted by memories of her father's twisted experiments, Britt began digging into old WSB files and Faison's classified research notes, documents that had supposedly been destroyed. But the deeper she went, the more she realized Faison's reach extended far beyond the grave. It seemed that before his death, Faison had been working with an off-the-book scientist known only as Dr. C, a master of neural cloning and behavioral programming. His mission? To create the perfect operative, someone who could pass for anyone. A living copy. Britt's horror grew as she found photographs from the old research facility in Geneva. Blurry but undeniable. One of them showed a man lying unconscious on a metal table, hooked to machines. And though his face was shadowed, Britt recognized the jawline instantly. Nathan. Or whatever was left of him. The stranger's slip. Meanwhile, Nathan had begun reintegrating into Port Charles' life, though not without strange behavior. He avoided Maxie, claiming fragmented memories. He didn't remember key details about James' birth or even the night of his proposal to Maxie. When asked about his WSB contacts, he deflected with vague answers. Maxie wanted to believe. She told herself trauma could explain everything. But when Nathan accidentally referred to Nina as Dr. Clay, a name from a past Faison-related experiment, she froze. That was something the real Nathan would never say. Nina confided in Valentine, who immediately grew suspicious. He'd seen imposters before, and he'd once manipulated DNA results himself. If Britt's brother wasn't truly Nathan, then someone was playing a dangerous game in Port Charles, one that might target the Cassadines next. Britt's secret lab discovery. Unable to trust anyone, Britt followed her instincts, and Nathan's double. Late one night, she tracked him through the hospital tunnels to the old basement lab once used for WSB research. She hid in the shadows as he accessed a secure door with a strange biometric scanner, something no one in Port Charles should have. Inside, Britt found rows of medical files, coded charts, and surgical blueprints. But what made her blood run cold was a folder labeled Project Westbourne 2. Inside were schematics, her brother's entire genetic and neural profile, digitally reconstructed and annotated. The project's goal was chillingly clear: to replicate operative-level intelligence and loyalty while erasing emotional attachment. Britt backed away, her mind spinning. Whoever had brought this version of Nathan to life hadn't done so to reunite their family, but to use him. And as if to confirm her fears, she noticed a small vial labeled Memory Serum V3, F, Program Active. Drew and Anna get involved. Realizing the threat might be far bigger than just her family, Britt reached out to Anna Devane, who was already investigating a string of covert data breaches within WSB's encrypted servers. Anna's eyes widened when Britt shared the files. "This isn't just cloning," Anna murmured. "This is reconstruction. Someone's building agents out of ghosts." Drew, still reeling from his own brainwashing ordeals, recognized the psychological patterns in the files. This isn't Faison's original work. It's evolved. Someone took his methods and perfected them. Together, they traced digital breadcrumbs to a private offshore facility owned by a biotech front company, one quietly linked to Victor Cassidy's final holdings. The Imposter's awakening. Back in Port Charles, Nathan began to experience painful flashbacks, not of his own life, but of others. Faces he didn't recognize, missions he didn't remember, and orders he couldn't ignore. His mind splintered between genuine emotion and mechanical obedience. One night, he showed up at Britt's apartment, trembling, drenched in sweat. "They told me I was your brother," he said hoarsely. "But every time I look in the mirror, I don't know who I am." Britt, tears streaming down her face, whispered, "Because you're not Nathan. But that doesn't mean you can't be more than what they made you." The imposter flinched. Then a flash of pain crossed his features. His eyes darkened, his voice dropped an octave, and he murmured in a robotic tone, "Directive engaged. Neutralize Westbourne." Britt gasped as he reached for her throat, only for Drew to burst in, tackling him to the ground. Anna fired a tranquilizer dart, dropping the man instantly. The real truth. As Britt stared down at the unconscious man who looked so much like her brother, she felt torn between fury and heartbreak. DNA or not, this person was a victim, just like Nathan once was. Anna confirmed that the programming could be reversed, but it would take time. The imposter might never regain control of his true self, if such a self even existed. And then came the final twist. As Drew accessed the imposter's internal tracking chip, it transmitted one last message before self-destructing. A simple text appeared on Anna's tablet. Phase 2 activated. Subject, Britt, is next. The aftermath. Britt stood in stunned silence, realizing her father's twisted legacy wasn't done with her yet. Nathan's imposter was only the beginning, and if she didn't stop whoever was running Project Westbourne 2, she could become the next experiment.